Most people think security guards have one of the easiest jobs in the world. Sit behind a desk, walk around with a flashlight, and keep an eye on things when everyone else has gone home. But those who've worked the night shift will tell you otherwise. Being a security guard means long hours of silence, shadows stretching across empty hallways, and the constant feeling that someone or something might be watching you. And then there are the stories. Guards who've seen figures move where no one should be. Voices in abandoned rooms. Cold hands on their shoulders when no one else was there. These are not campfire tales, but real experiences shared by men and women whose only job was to keep watch. Tonight, ILL share with you 3 horrifying security guard stories that'll make you think twice about walking alone in the dark. Turn off the lights, get comfortable, and remember, you never know who or what might be standing just behind you. Let's begin. Story 1. The hospital basement. Rizwan had been working nights at the hospital for almost 2 years. He was used to the strange silence of the wards after midnight, the flicker of fluorescent lights, the beeping of machines, the occasional cry from a patient, but nothing could prepare him for what he experienced that night. The basement was always locked. At least it was supposed to be. That night, during his patrol, Rizwan noticed the door slightly open, creaking as if someone had recently gone inside. He frowned. Nobody had access to the basement at night. Holding his flashlight tightly, he stepped inside. The air instantly felt heavy, damp, cold. His breath came out in white puffs, even though it was the middle of summer. As the beam of his light swept across the dusty room, he saw broken gurneys, old wheelchairs, and stacks of forgotten files. Then his light froze on something. A figure sitting perfectly still on a bed in the corner. "Hello," Rizwan whispered, though his voice trembled. "Are you lost?" The figure wore a faded patient gown. Its head hung low, hair covering its face. Slowly, almost painfully, the head tilted upward. Rizwan's stomach dropped. The face was nothing but charred black flesh, hollow sockets where eyes should have been. And then it grinned. A wide, unnatural grin. A low, crackling laugh echoed through the basement, not from its mouth but from the walls themselves. Rizwan's flashlight flickered violently, plunging the room into darkness for a split second. When the light came back, the bed was empty. He stumbled back, heart pounding, and ran up the stairs. But halfway up, he froze. The laugh. It was right behind him now, closer, almost whispering in his ear. Rizwan burst through the door, slamming it shut. He didn't breathe until he was back at the reception desk. The next morning, when he told an old nurse, she gave him a knowing look. "They never left," she whispered. "That ward was shut down because the patients died. All of them, locked in during a fire. Their screams still linger in the basement." Story 2. The mall at midnight. Imran had only been working at the shopping mall for a few weeks when it happened. His job was simple. Once the mall closed, he had to patrol each floor, check the CCTV, and make sure no one stayed behind. That night, around 1 a.m., as he sipped his tea and watched the cameras, something caught his eye. On the 3rd floor camera, a woman appeared. She wore a long, flowing white dress. Her hair hung down, covering her face. She was walking slowly, almost gliding. Imran blinked. That couldn't be right. He had personally checked the 3rd floor after closing. Every store was locked, every corridor empty. He leaned closer to the screen. The woman turned her head slightly, as if she knew he was watching. And then the feed cut to static. A chill ran down his spine. Grabbing his flashlight, Imran made his way up. The 3rd floor was silent. Too silent. His footsteps echoed unnaturally loud. He walked past darkened storefronts, mannequins staring from behind glass. Then he heard it. A laugh. Soft, but sharp. A woman's laugh, echoing around him though the floor was empty. "Who's there?" Ikaded out, trying to sound brave. At the far end of the corridor, she appeared. The woman from the CCTV, standing perfectly still, her head slowly tilted, her body twitching unnaturally. Imran raised his flashlight just as her face snapped upward. Her eyes were pure white, her mouth stretched open wider than humanly possible, and she screamed. The sound pierced his ears like knives. She sprinted toward him, impossibly fast. Imran dropped his flashlight and ran, his heart hammering in his chest. He didn't stop until he was back in the security office, slamming the door shut. When he checked the cameras again, the woman was gone. The next morning, he told his supervisor. The man gave a grim smile. "We've all seen her. Some guards quit after their first encounter. The mall was built over old land, they say. A woman was murdered here years ago. She doesn't like to be watched." Imran never forgot the sound of her scream. Some nights, even when he's safe at home, he swears he still hears it. Story 3. The construction site Kashif worked nights at a construction site, guarding the equipment and unfinished structure. It was lonely work, especially during storms. One rainy night, the wind howled through the skeletal frame of the building. Kashif sat in his cabin when he heard the sound of metal dragging against concrete. He grabbed his flashlight and went out into the rain. Inside the half-built building, shadows twisted unnaturally. Then he saw him, a man, drenched in rain, his body covered in mud and blood. His head was crushed, bones sticking out at impossible angles. The man whispered over and over, "Don't bury me. Don't bury me." Kashif froze. Months ago, a worker had fallen to his death on this very site. Could it be him? The figure turned toward Kashif. Its jaw hung loose, swinging unnaturally. With every step it took, the sound of crunching bones echoed. Kashif stumbled back, but the figure followed, dragging its broken body across the ground. The rain seemed to grow louder, drowning out his screams. He reached the cabin, slammed the door, and pressed his back against it. The whispers grew louder, right outside. "Don't bury me. Don't bury me." All night Kashif sat trembling as the walls shook with pounding fists. By morning, it was silent, but when the workers arrived, they saw muddy footprints leading up to his cabin door. On the walls, smeared handprints of mud and blood. Kashif quit that day, unable to return. He swears to this day, whenever it rains, he hears the voice in the storm.